Picture this. You're staring at a slice of colon cancer tissue under the microscope. It looks, well, like cancer. But hidden between those human cells is something wild. Whole colonies of living bacteria, setting up shop where we thought only tumor cells lived. Here's the kicker. One particular bacterial crew shows up again and again in patients who do worse. So today we're asking, are these microbes just hitchhikers? Or partners in crime? First, why should you care? Because if the bugs aren't innocent bystanders, they turn into clues. Little biological tells hiding in plain sight. Instead of checking only human genes and proteins, doctors could start scanning the tumor's microbial barcode. Big idea number 1. Certain bacterial combos cluster in aggressive cancers, while others pop up in tumors that respond beautifully to drugs. Imagine a future pathology report that lists not only stage and mutations, but also a microbe profile that says, hey, this patient could skip the nastiest chemo, or this one needs immunotherapy on day 1. How close are we? Pretty close. A giant study recently sifted through DNA from thousands of tumors, basically every major cancer type. Then the team did some unglamorous detective work, stripping away contamination from lab reagents, hospital air, even plain old dust. After that deep clean, one cancer still flashed a neon-bright microbial signal: colon cancer. Those tumors were keeping a meticulous guest list. When researchers zoomed in on that guest list, the same suspects kept popping up: Fusobacterium nucleatum, nasty strains of Bacteroides fragilis, toxin-packing Escherichia coli. Each one warps the neighborhood a little differently, sparking inflammation, scrambling DNA, or convincing immune cells to look the other way. That leads us to big idea number 2. You can spot these microbial fingerprints early. The same traces seen in advanced tumors have already been found in tiny precancerous polyps and even in stool samples. So future screening might ask, not just is there hidden blood, but is the bacterial soundtrack changing? A test could merge human DNA mutations, shed tumor cells, and a microbe playlist to decide who needs a colonoscopy sooner rather than later. Inside full-blown tumors, the bugs do even more. Some blunt chemotherapy by chemically tweaking the drugs or by teaching cancer cells stress resistance tricks. Others mute the exact immune alarms that immunotherapy tries to set off. That's why multiple clinical trials are now asking, what if we add a targeted antibiotic to standard chemo? Could a designer probiotic, or even a fecal transplant, tip the scales back in our favor? But let's be real, going after bacteria with a bazooka is risky. Wipe out everything and you torch the good along with the bad, like burning down a forest just to yank a few weeds. So researchers are testing finer tools, small molecule blockers that disarm a single toxin, phage therapies that hunt one strain at a time, and diet tweaks that starve the bullies while feeding the peacekeepers. Fast forward a few years. A patient's workup might include imaging, genetic sequencing, and a readout of which microbes are embedded in the tumor. Armed with that map, doctors could decide which levers, drugs, diet, or microbiome tech can best reshape that hidden ecosystem. Let's make it personal. Picture 2 patients with identical-looking stage 2 tumors. On paper, their cancers should act the same. Yet one relapses in months, the other stays cancer-free for years. One theory? Their tumors are hosting totally different crowds. Maybe patient A's tumor is packed with bugs that sabotage chemo, while patient B's is loaded with species that accidentally flag the tumor to the immune system. This is where tumor-level microbiome testing turns into tailoring, not off-the-rack shopping. The clinic of the future might label a tumor antibiotic-sensitive, immune-primed, or diet-responsive, then tweak the plan as those microbial vitals shift week by week. Kind of like adjusting hypertension meds after every blood pressure reading. Big idea number 3. Treatment could soon feel more like tuning an instrument than following a rigid score. One patient might get gentler chemo plus a microbiome-shaping diet. Another could justify adding phages or early immunotherapy, And as thousands of these real-time readouts pile up, we might spot prevention windows. Little moments when a subtle microbial blip says, "Intervene now, before cancer digs in." We're still early. First-generation tools will be clunky, more weather forecast than crystal ball. But sequencing keeps getting cheaper, algorithms keep getting smarter, and tumor reports are evolving from static snapshots into living maps that update like your phone's GPS. Before I wrap, let me hand you 3 reflection prompts to chew on this week. Grab your notes app if you need it. 1. If a doctor found a hidden high-risk feature in my colon polyp, like an aggressive cell type or mutation, what exact questions would I ask about treatment options and follow-up? 2. Looking at my own risk, family history, age, lifestyle, what would have to change for me to feel my screening plan is truly personal, not just copy and paste? And who can I email this week to confirm that? 3. If someone I love were diagnosed with colon cancer tomorrow, how would I help them push for deeper tumor analysis, like molecular profiling or mismatch repair testing? Can I draft those questions now so I'm ready, just in case? Let that sink in for a second. So here's what we covered today. 1. Colon tumors host real, living bacteria that can tilt a patient's odds, for better or worse. 2. Those microbial fingerprints can show up early, offering brand new angles for screening. 3. The same bugs can blunt or boost treatments, opening the door to antibiotics, phages, probiotics, and even diet as cancer tools. 4. Future care will likely combine genetics, imaging, and a microbial map to craft a truly bespoke plan. And 5. You're not helpless. By asking sharper questions now, you can make sure your screening or a loved one's treatment keeps pace with this fast-moving science. You've just stepped inside the hidden community living in colon cancer. Next time, we'll unpack another medical mystery hiding in plain sight. Until then, stay curious, stay proactive, and remember, sometimes the smallest organisms can change the biggest outcomes.